One of the things I've noticed about people is that there's just a lot of yearning for something, and it's all throughout society, but I think what they're yearning for is connection. Obviously connection with each other, we're yearning for that, but it's deeper than that. It's actually a connection with the earth and that which sustains us. We're just as much part of nature as the grass and the trees and the lions and the cattle and the dirt, but we like to think of nature as being something that we go and visit and that we go and look at, and it's separate to us. And so that's our disconnection, we're completely disconnected. And it's just not how nature works either. And that seems to be the degenerative approach, is always trying to control and tame nature. And so it's always a fight because nature's going to win eventually. So when you start trying to work with her and listen to what nature's trying to tell you, then you actually make better decisions.
For this area we're different because we're certified organic, which is probably one of the very few that are, and we do regenerative agriculture, which we decided to use our tools, mainly livestock, to fix up land, and so a much bigger focus on environmental outcomes and ecological outcomes. We work with nature a lot more than fighting it all the time, I guess is probably the main difference, you might say.
When we first came to this area, we were told it was impossible to be organic. You just can't do it. You'd be dreaming. We got laughed at, ridiculed, all those things. And so we did go down the chemical route for a while. We were doing something that was against our values.
The intergenerational inequity that comes from putting in a mine or development that is great for the guys right now, but then our children's children are going to be the ones paying for it. So we go the other way and we try and look for a double, triple bottom line benefit.
It's certainly a lot more satisfying way to farm, and it is profitable in a true sense, not just in dollars in the bank.
The way we look at landscapes is, and what we're doing here on Forage Farms, is we're trialling animals or a system that if we were to go into a completely degraded landscape, where do we start? We know that we need plants in there to build the system, but we need to make $1 at the same time. So pigs and chickens, because they have an external feed source as a grain component of their diet, that means that they can survive whilst they're able to do their thing to the landscape while they let the plants grow that need to grow.
We're locals to the area. So John and I live locally, so we've known each other for a long time.
Tim and Amber started the shop at Kandanga. It's probably the only shop in Australia that doesn't rely on chemicals.
The other really important thing to me, about the shop and about Tim and Amber, has been that it's become a real focal point of the whole community. You don't just go there for the coffee, though it's pretty good, or for your cover crop seed, or your mineral licks for your cattle. It's a place where you build community and meet other people and have really interesting conversations, and that's something I really value about the shop. Till we can work together to really challenge the dominant food system. It's not someone who lives in Brisbane's fault that they don't eat pork this good, or avocados this good, or beef this good.
Yeah.
We can't get it to them, and it's that systems change that needs to happen too.
Everything's sold per kilogram, and so the guys producing the food get paid per kilogram, so whoever can produce the most number of kilograms for the least amount of money win the race.
Yep.
And that's probably the crux of everything, is if you're actually paid on a nutritional basis, which is how you eat, if you feel fulfilled, not filled, but fulfilled as you eat food, then that's a different thing to eating the most number of Big Macs or whatever, so it needs to flow all the way through. If you can have a nutrient dense diet, then the people producing the most nutrients should be the one that gets paid the most, not the ones producing the most number of kilos.
Food is the one thing that actually can reconnect us to nature, but you've got to know where it comes from. You've got to know the story of that food. So if you go to the supermarket, you've got no way of knowing the story of that food. You don't know who grew it and the person that was involved in getting it to you, and you don't know about the land where that food came from. And that's a massive negative for humanity, that we don't know that, because the story is really, really important. And the other side of that then is that food becomes a way to connect with other people, and that's the other thing that we're missing. Because you think of any type of human interaction where humanity gets together, food's at the centre of it. Every celebration, even mourning, everything we do comes down to what are we going to eat. And it's a way to bring people together. It's a way of showing allegiance to each other. It underpins our culture. Food is fundamental to everything. And in terms of all of humanity's problems, I think that we can start solving a lot of our issues by reconnecting with where our food comes from, because it connects us with each other and it connects us with the land that it comes from.